so excited. Today I have Alarice Lonergan. She is a partner at IBM for the last almost 18 years. I am so excited to have her today. We caught up a little bit before this filming. Alarice, tell us exactly what you do at IBM. I know you've had a few different roles.
Yes. Well, thanks first off for having me. It's so good to chat with you. I am currently our experience design and mobile leader for the Americas, which is an amazing role. I get to work with some of the most talented individuals, designers, developers, researchers, strategists across all different industries. But my heart always has been within financial services. I've had 18 years in financial services. So I spent a lot of time with banks and insurance companies, selling and delivering and delighting our customers.
Awesome. A little background for everyone. I found her. Go to YouTube. There's this channel called Snapchat. I work with IBM as a client at Kforce, and one of my clients, Troy Sywick, was a part of this Snapchat channel. And I was watching the videos and I saw her on the channel. She was the first woman on this YouTube series that they do. And they talk about consulting and IBM life. Let me reach out to her. And because I started this YouTube channel, probably at that point a few months before. And I was like, I gotta see how she does it. I gotta meet Alarice. So I LinkedIn messaged her and she was so gracious and met with me. And I was telling her too, she's introduced me to so many people at IBM. And, that is honestly, that is my biggest account at Kforce right now. And it's so grateful. Talking about Women's History Month, I mean, there's no one better to be on this show than Alarice. So you're in Jersey, right?
Yes, I live in Chatham, New Jersey, just outside of New York. It's about a 40-minute train ride. Yeah, really close.
That's what, I know we were talking to my sisters in the Oranges. I think it's like a little nearby you. So I'm so happy. Thank you so much for being on. We're going to start off with what you're doing for Women's History Month on LinkedIn. I know you said Twitter too. I guess tell us a little bit about what you've been doing every single day for the last 25 days.
Yeah. So I wanted to create awareness for all these amazing, talented female leaders across all different industries. And they're just the most amazing and inspirational women. And when I think about Women's History Month, I also think about Women's Future Month. And so I really said, I just want to set out and share with everyone really tidbits of inspirational quotes from these amazing women. And hopefully it inspires sets of movement for us to really think about the impact that we can make and that these women have made. And it just inspires us. So I've been doing it every day. And I've gotten a lot of people following and liking and messaging afterwards saying, oh my gosh, I love what's going on. I love what you're doing. And I'm thinking, I only have a couple more days in the month. I got to figure out what I'm going to do next month.
Isn't that so true? I mean, the amount of traction and engagement just from consistency too, it shows like, even though it's like, it's a quote every single day, it's something simple, but I was telling Alarice too, I look forward to it. Because she has kids, she has a family, she has a very, very hectic job. So she posts at all hours of the day. I'm on LinkedIn all hours of the day too. So I love seeing like her quotes at I think last night it was like 9:30 p.m. And I was like,
that's after I got all the kids to bed and finally get a little personal time. This is a great time for a quote.
Exactly. No, and I love it. It's for people like Brene Brown, like Jane Austen, and she's also on Twitter too. So definitely follow her there. Yeah, I think it's so important to just bring awareness to like Women's History Month. I mean, it's been around for a long time, but I think now more than ever, it's women in the STEM industries and technology. It's rare, but it's becoming more, I guess, accessible, and I think you've been in it for, almost 18 years. I'm sure you've seen it change, and especially at IBM, I work with most of the people I work with are men, but it's cool to see. I don't know if have you seen a change at IBM or like other industries that you're working with?
It's such an important topic, right? So when I started in the consulting industry back in 2004, it certainly was male dominated. And I won't lie, it's still pretty male dominated, candidly, right? And even financial services is the same thing, right? There's at entry level, I think it's about 53% women enter. into the financial services fields.
Okay.
But once you get to the executive ranks, it is only a small portion. And part of it is people don't see themselves there. And so they think maybe that's not attainable or it's not possible because, I've got different competing priorities in my life. And if I don't see it, then I can't be it. And I think what's happened is you've seen a trajectory of that changing over the last decade, I would even say, where you're having moms out there being senior executives running companies. Like look at Jane at CITI. These are huge, huge figures for people to see in the industry and in the tech world, in the consulting world. Seeing that is starting to spark interest and people say, ooh, it's possible. And so I think about one other thing, right, is, okay, if you don't see it, that's one thing, but also you want role models and mentors to help you make sure that it's achievable and remove those roadblocks. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I know we've talked about. I'm part of the Women's Bond Club, an executive and board member for the Women's Bond Club, which is all about leading, learning, returning to women in the financial services industry, getting them more into finance, into tech, into asset management, investment management. They offer mentoring, scholarships, and it's just been a huge, huge force to be able to see now all these young, talented women entering into the industry. So a lot has changed. I think there's still a lot more work that we need to do. And it's upon all of us, not just the women, but also men as allies to help in that front.
I love that you talked about the Women's Bond Club. I mean, I was doing some research into it too. It's been around since I think it was like 1920.
Yes, we actually last year in 2021, we celebrated our 100-year anniversary. It was founded by Betty Cook. She was one of the first bond traders on Wall Street. So thus the Women's Bond Club. She got many of the females together and started this club to really help advocate around that premise of leading, learning, returning, getting more women into the industry. It's remarkable.
Can you imagine being a woman on Wall Street in 1921? I mean,
no, and she couldn't either because there was only her and maybe a handful of others, right?
I just watched Wolf of Wall Street like 2 nights ago too. So I mean, I know that was obviously after 1921, but I was like, oh gosh, I can't even imagine. That is awesome. 100 years. I mean,
we have a break. We have a guest speaker. You want to say hi?
Hi. Happy Friday. Oh, look at you. What's your name?
Say it loud so you can hear you.
Hi.
What's your name?
Aiden.
I'm Aiden. That's right.
Hi, Aiden. Oh, you're a beautiful boy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're helping mommy out. I'm sure this isn't his first guest appearance.
Yeah, this is kind of a regular thing that happens.
This is a regular thing.
Work from home life, work balance. This is real.
100%.
This is what happens.
Can I try car keys?
Yes, the car keys are. Ask Daddy for the car keys.
Okay.
Thanks.
He's driving already. He can't be tamed. So yeah, I mean, speaking of being a woman in tech and work-life balance, so you have 2 kids right now, or?
I actually have 3. So he's my youngest. I know. So he's my youngest. Aiden is 2, and I have a 3.5-year-old girl named Kyla, and I have a 6-year-old named Ayla. So yes, it's a busy household.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, and speaking of like the work from home too, has that before COVID, were you traveling and were you in the office every day or?
Yeah, so I traveled a bit, but it'd be planned trips. And especially as an executive, I was able to have a little more flexibility. I would go into the city a bit. I wouldn't probably go more than 3 days a week anyways. But now when I think about that, oh my goodness, right? Because you get up and then you find yourself rushing to make the train into the city. And then you'd rush from the city by like no later than 5 so you can make it back in order to pick up from daycare and school or whatever activities. And now that just seems so crazy to me.
I don't have kids, but I was like, I used to wake up at like 6:30, like go to Barry's boot camp, go shower, get ready, go to work, and then go out after work. I mean, even just that was exhausting. Like we were just talking about it with my coworker. That was exhausting, and then to throw 3 kids in the mix, I can't even imagine. So Women's History Month and Appreciation Month, I mean, all for you. I mean, that is wild. So that's awesome. But I mean, the Bond Club networking I found it's where I found like my last few jobs, it's,
Right.
I had a conversation too about last week. I went out to dinner with a good friend. She's in like the product management side. She's in like the healthcare world. And she's like, how do I know if I'm making a like comparable salary? And I was like, that's why like networking, finding those groups of like other women that are in the industry. I mean, and men too, but it's, I think women too, it's, we tend to like not share our salary, and tend to be very timid about like, oh, I don't want to, it's a little taboo, in which nowadays, I don't think it is, I think that's how you figure out like, what are other people making? Like, what am I worth? I told her like networking groups are a huge part, because you can get close with women in your specific industry and figure out like, what is the threshold? Like, am I getting the value that I deserve? So if you are in the financial industry and like or tech or consulting, I know you said, definitely check out Women's Bond Club. Are you you're the co-chair of the community outreach?
Community outreach. Yeah. So I'm co-chair of the community outreach, and we specifically focus on the mentoring, the professional development. We also help with the scholarship for individuals, as well as the charitable giving that we do with a number of organizations, including Rock the Street Wall Street, including Girls Who Invest. These are great, phenomenal organizations that we help network with and build up some of that talent across the financial and tech and consulting space.
The Girls Who Invest, can you tell us a little bit more about, is that just like an investment club for women, or?
No, it's bigger than that. So basically there's a lot of studies that have been done that basically by the age of 9, you already have girls deselecting out of the math and STEM. So the whole premise is to actually help make sure that women are really understanding financial literacy and understanding about saving, about asset management, investing. And you go through some mentoring and networking with this community to be able to learn some of those skills. They have scholarships and internship programs that set you up in the field. And then Rock the Street Wall Street, you even have a chance to go and visit the stock exchange and spend time there. So it's really exposing young women into the field and into the industry, and setting up internships and opportunities for them.
Yeah. I mean, even looking back at like when I was a kid too, like I didn't even know like when I took out a student college loan, I didn't even know what that meant. Obviously I was like, oh, I'm borrowing money, but like, I don't know, I was like, yeah, like everyone does it. And it's like the payment, the interest, like, what am I doing? Even setting up a 401k. I'm 30 years old. I just learned that like a few years ago, and it's investment too. I think it's, I'm like Googling how to invest.
That's right. And that's what you find, which is okay. But you also want to think about there's other access points. So there's a lot of great, books to look into the topics. You can read a lot of blogs around it where people have these same kinds of questions, and you create these kind of safe networks and communities to be able to ask the questions that you might feel really silly or uncomfortable about. But the thing is, you shouldn't, because other people have those same questions. And it'd be much worse if you didn't even ask the question, because there's probably 10 other people that are thinking it and we're too afraid to ask.
Yeah, I'll never forget during my K-Force interview, my boss had like the stock market, like Wall Street, one of those channels in the background. And I was like my first interview. So I was like, okay, after this, I need to like learn everything I can learn about the stock market and like Wall Street. And I like created like a Robinhood account, like learned about stocks, and I was like, oh, I like came to the next meeting, like, do you see Moderna today? Or like, so ridiculous. And then it honestly got me into like investing. So that shouldn't have been the case. I should have been doing it before, but it is cool that there's programs and like networking groups and stuff like that. So I'll put in the chat, like all the links and all the ways for you, or like, for the people out there to get involved in it. I think that's definitely like a coming of age for women,
Yeah. Well, there's a great organization, if you haven't heard of it, Elvest. It's actually financial planners, financial analysts, that it's by women for women. And because what we were noticing, what you can notice in the industry, it's very male dominated as well. And so as more women traditionally tend to maybe outlive some of their spouses, if they have male spouses, they would be in a position where they didn't know how to manage some of the investments. So all of that was really founded on the premise of let's make sure we help other women by being supportive, understanding what their goals, their needs are, and they really work with you on being able to shape how you want to manage your money. And I love that organization. So you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. It's one that I've spent some time in. They have great articles too. So you can kind of get a good sense of, some easy ways to educate around the topics, different investing topics.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments too, so everyone can definitely check it out. So thank you. Businesses and everything like that. I know we talked a little bit about your favorite Mexican restaurant in Jersey. So I'll let you take it away and kind of give us. The story is just so heartwarming for the location. So you go ahead.
So our family go-to place is called Mexican Spice. It's here in Chatham, New Jersey. I love many things about it. They have amazing food. You can't go wrong ordering anything from the menu. My favorite is the carne asada tacos. So what I love about this story is it's female owned, female run. These sisters started this company. First, they started the business by making these taquitos and selling them in the local wine store in town in Madison, New Jersey. It was starting to drum up, interest, and they started opening a storefront where they could sell some of the food that they prepared. As the rents went up, they said, we need to figure out a new location. And they found this location in Chatham. It needed work. So basically they went and got everything crowdsource funding for it. Amazing. So it was people around the surrounding towns all contributed to help them really get them started in this business with their own storefront. It has restaurant seats outside, and it is my go-to every Friday night. And even better, they also have taco trucks, everyone. Taco trucks. So you can rent a taco truck, which is amazing. Yeah. So at my birthday this past year, my husband was amazing and organized the taco truck to come and be at our house. And literally people are stopping along, our street, just like looking, what is going on right there? Delicious, amazing food, but even more amazing that it's female owned, female run, and their story of, coming from Mexico and wanting to bring a taste of Mexico to here locally is just wonderful. And if you ask anyone in the surrounding town what's their go-to place, it is Mexican Spice.
Mexican Spice. Thank you so much. That is such a cool story. And it's even better because it was like the community surrounded them. It was like, we need your food. We want you to succeed. You don't hear that a lot. You do hear a little bit of like, oh, COVID, obviously like COVID relief. Restaurants were really struggling during COVID, but that was usually coming from the government, not the local community. So, that is so cool. I have to tell my sister about this because I think she lives very close to you in that area. So Mexican Spice, and it's two sisters, right? You said?
Yeah, there's actually 4 sisters in total, believe it or not.
Gosh, okay.
But not all of them work at the place. But yeah, it's phenomenal. So then you love it even more because it's like this family owned business too.
I absolutely love that. I was telling Alarice, I used to be a catering manager at Rose Mexicano in Boston, and I fell in love with tacos and just making it and the homemade and the story behind it, and to have a place that is good in food and has that story and women owned. If you're in New Jersey, definitely check them out. And the food truck idea, I can't wait to tell my boyfriend that about food truck ideas because my birthday's coming up in 6 months, so we can hopefully get
Here you go.
You probably have people stopping thinking they could join the party and do the food truck,
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly it. I think they were slowing down saying, oh, I wonder if I could, maybe pop in. This looks like fun. We would have been fine with it. We would have been like, sure, come on.
Come on in. Oh my gosh, that was so great. Okay, so I'll put the link for Mexican Spice restaurant. We love a good story. We love a good comeback story. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I really appreciate this, guys.
Oh, I loved it.
Nice. Yeah, check out Women's Bond Club, Girls Who Invest, Rock on Wall Street. I think that's right, Elvest. So I will put everything on the chat, on to the comments, and definitely check it out. And if you have any questions about joining Women's Bond, definitely reach out to Alarice, and we can definitely get you guys started. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.